What is up, guys? Welcome back. It's time to get our draft on once again, and we're going to do a mock with you. Full PPR. We're going to continue to see exactly how overrated these rookies are now that we know where they're going. And look, it wasn't too bad last week, right? I think rookie fever is, it runs rampant this time of year, but our community knows better. I think we had some reasonable results here. We had some interesting results too. Not gonna lie, there's always some interesting player values. But yeah, let's see exactly what happens here. You guys already know the deal. The link is coming on to the comments, and there it is. So you want to get in here, get in here. You got maybe 5 seconds if you want a spot to draft with us. Got some of our community members as always in here. Jay Problem is back in the house with the #1 pick. You got to stick through to the end though, Jay. Same thing with you, Bill. And then we are full. All right, Chris, you ready?
I'm ready. Let's do it. J Problem on the clock.
All right.
PPR, by the way, 3 wide receiver. PPR, full PPR.
Full PPR, the way it should be. You gave yourself the very last pick here. Very generous. And I stuck myself in the middle. Don't want anybody to have to, feel like they got stuck with that 7th pick.
That's very nice of you. Very kind of you.
I thought so. Yeah, I thought so. I was feeling generous today. Jay, you're on the clock.
Let's go, J Problem. Saquon or Chase?
All right.
Saquon, all right.
Saquon.
And then Bijan.
Oh.
Are we in a did I miss the memo? Is this a non-PPR draft?
I was going to say, remember, full P. Look, nothing wrong with taking the best running back in the game, and maybe the guy who, look, I'm one of them, may think that is going to be as good, if not better, in fantasy this year. Of course, I feel like we're going to say that now. If Bijan Robinson isn't the RB1 in all of fantasy this year, we got to stop saying it, right? Like, we can't keep saying it every year.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
But look, right now, I mean, look, the draft is over, free agency is pretty much over, and the schedule is out. Not talking about the 101, but as far as just RBs, you still Saquon or Bijan?
Well, I'm Bijan. But last night I did do underdog draft, and I did take Saquon at the 102, but that's because I've already got a lot of Bijan this year. And I wanted to make sure I had some Saquon. But I like Bijan this year. I think he could have a monster year. Monster year. I mean, he actually had better opportunity. Like, his weighted opportunities were actually like best of all running backs last year, significantly ahead of Saquon. So now Saquon was better, of course. And Saquon's great. There's nothing wrong with Saquon, of course.
No. Nothing wrong. I mean, it's one of those questions that does not have a wrong answer because it probably doesn't matter too much, right? It's not going to, neither one should kill you. The correct answer is both, because you should be in more than one fantasy league. And if you get the chance to draft early, you should be able to try to get one of each. But, not every league are you going to have a top 3 pick. You know what? A lot of times I will go Neighbors here, but today I will go Lamb.
All right. No worries for Lamb with Pickens.
No. No worries. No concerns there. I'll tell you what, though, one thing I kind of like with taking Lamb as opposed to Neighbors is at least I feel he is stackable. Like, I can take Dak Prescott and wait in my quarterback and be good with it, as opposed to the Giants quarterback. So that's the only downside, I think, to Neighbors super early top 10.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's go with BTJ. And the Rook.
Nice. Now, Most of the time, we'll see Ashton Gianti in the first round, but of course, Clayton had to get his boy CMC there, so that made the decision easy for you.
Yeah, if he hadn't taken CMC, I probably would have gone BTJ CMC. So,
right. Either way,
I'm really. I mean, obviously, I think this will probably change by August, but I really like the turn. I mean, being able to get two of Neighbors, CMC, Nico, BTJ, Genty, Achan. I mean, just Henry. Like being able to get two of those guys feels pretty good.
Yeah, I think what I like the best is the flexibility. You almost feel like there isn't a bad combination of those two you can take. You could go double RB and take like HN and Jonty, or you could take BTJ and Neighbors. I mean, that's like almost too good to be true. Or Nico. I mean, you can mix and match. And so I feel like there's like it would be pretty hard to be disappointed with whatever two you come out of there with.
Yeah. Whereas when you're at the beginning, I feel like the players, like last night when I was doing the underdog draft, the players that came back to me, I just didn't. They're fine. They're not bad, but I don't, get me excited necessarily. It's like, yeah, these guys are good. Like, the Terry McLaurins, the Garrett Wilsons, those guys where it's like, yeah, but they don't like, I like get the turn there.
Right. All right. Got my pick in. Let's say what's up to everybody who's in here, not just in the draft. Good evening to Justin. Cody, looks like you were here late. It's okay. We'll do it again. We'll do it again soon. Taz, Taz been with us a while. Yeah, of course, you land Ja'Marr Chase at the 3. That's a no-brainer. But then he says, I would have taken Bijan over Chase. Oh, I mean, I don't know. I love Bijan, but I still think Chase needs to go first.
Yeah, I agree. It's kind of like Saquon probably needs to go over Bijan. Chase probably needs to go over Bijan as well. I mean, there is risk always, coming off a historic season. Like, what if he's not quite as good? But I mean, there's risk with everybody.
Certain players you can just say, okay, it doesn't matter. His season will be. Well, I will say this. Haven't done too much into it, but just a little bit. The schedule just came out, and I hadn't thought about it too much. But then, Fantasy Pros has those things, and so I was like, okay, fine, I'll do the thing. And so I probably really quickly jumped into it. And the couple of teams that jumped out to me as far as schedule, and I picked as far as a good opening couple of weeks schedule was the Bengals. Weeks 1 through 3, they have some tasty matchups in terms of pass defenses. Like, not that it makes a difference. Like, oh, well, let's move Chase up, from the 1-1 to the 1.0. Right? You can't go higher than that. But yeah, I think the Bengals are probably not going to disappoint, because you always think, right, when they pass so much and they put up so many points, like they can't do as well, can they? But I think maybe they can.
I mean, we'll see. We'll see. Again, what I always say, I mean, like, I certainly don't think – I think if you have Ja'Marr Chase, you're going to be just fine.
Yeah. And
the problem is always the expectation, right?
Well, yeah.
Like, if he doesn't lead the league in yards, touchdowns, and receptions again, you're going to be disappointed. You know what I mean? Because that's the expectation now. It's like if Saquon Barkley only gets 1,500 yards and 8 touchdowns, you're going to be disappointed, even though that's a fantastic season by any standard.
Well, yeah. I mean, when you're the top player, you have nowhere to go but down, except you could actually put up similar or better statistics. But look, Jarrell, right there, we got a Barkley doubter. He won't repeat.
Well, he's not going to repeat 2,000 yards, probably, because no one's ever repeated 2,000 yards. And
right.
It's very hard to even get 2,000 yards once.
Well, but what about this? Let me just throw this out there. Devil's advocate. You've seen it, right? Especially in underdogs, slightly fading Jalen Hurts because of the whole tush push ban, if it happens, which is stupid. But what if it happens? Isn't that better for Barkley?
I mean, allegedly, but like the Eagles were like Jalen Hurts was scoring double-digit touchdowns before they were even running the tush push. Like he's still a big quarterback that can sneak it at the one. I mean, Josh Allen scores a bazillion touchdowns without the tush push.
Right. He just takes it from like the 12-yard line.
Yeah, or even from the one, right? They get the 1 yard line, he just plows in. They don't even need to push him; he just plows in. And Jalen Hurts is a big, strong dude. So, I mean, it probably helps Barkley, but again, it wasn't like Barkley didn't score touchdowns last year. It's not like he never got touchdowns.
Right. I just wonder. No, and I agree. But I just wonder if people who are using that logic to think, well, Hurts won't score as many rushing touchdowns when they get to the goal line, he can't do that anymore. Well, then logically, it should follow that would have to mean they'll run the ball a different way. I doubt they're going to pass the ball from the 1 or 2 yard line a lot more. And, so who's going to benefit there? It's Saquon Barkley. So I just wonder if those same people then will say, hey, well, that's got to be good for Barkley.
Now, what happens when the tush push doesn't get banned?
Yeah, then it's back to last year, which, I don't get on that whole thing. It's just stupid. Oh, man. All right. So let's see here. We got, okay, so that's interesting. Now I see what you did there, Jay, at the 1. He took McLaurin, and then at the turn, then he's immediately pairing him with JD. So that means Jaden Daniels is our QB1 in this draft.
I'm not really sure what I want to do here.
Let's see.
Let's go Devonta Smith. I was almost hoping Trey McBride would fall. I would have taken McBride there.
Interesting. Early tight end. That's not a very you pick.
No, definitely not. And I will say I thought about another running back there, but then I'm like, man, I'm 2 running backs in 4 rounds in a 3 wide receiver draft. Starts to get scary.
Yeah, we'll see how these next couple picks go. There's a running back I still like, and the receiver. It's again, nobody jumps off the page right here at receiver. Right. Okay, well, that just made my decision. James Cook is the one guy I feel like is a good value for this spot, and probably the only receiver I still had in this range was DJ Moore. I'm going to take DJ Moore.
Yeah, James Cook. I debated James Cook at my last pick. I debated, but then it's like then I have two receivers, 2 running backs through 4 picks, and a 3 wide receiver, 1 flex.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not like a big, other than the schedule, not a big news week NFL wise, but for I'm not sure what reason. Maybe someone was talking to Caleb Williams. All of a sudden, there's all this like rumors about Caleb Williams. Do you see any of that?
No, what's going on with Caleb Williams?
Nothing, but that's the weird. It's like stuff from like a year ago. It's like he never really wanted to go to the Bears. Okay, well, why would he want to? But why does that matter now? Like, why is this coming out like a year after he got drafted? And then it was something else about how I don't know if it was the whole season, but he basically watched film alone. Like the coaches didn't sit with him, and so I don't know if he's talking to somebody on the side or what. But even if that's the case, I mean, it's not very inspiring to me that he's whining about last year.
But, the good news is that coach is gone.
Right. I think a good coach should be able to fix those things, not just making the offense better with the play design, not just, supporting him with talent around him, which both of those things are going to happen, but just the development, like the maturity and the decision-making, not just decision-making, like reading the right, target, but like decisions on and off the field. So hopefully that happens.
I mean, I know these guys get paid a ton of money, and I know we expect like, oh, you get paid all this money, do your job regardless of the situation and all that. But also these guys are human beings, and if the situation sucks and you don't like your coaches,
you gotta deal with it.
I mean, yeah, you got to deal with it, but you might not deal with it to your fullest potential.
Right. And
You know what I mean?
These guys are super young. I mean, I remember when I was, no, I don't think I do remember when I was 22, 23 years old. But yeah, not always the best decisions.
Right. So now you get a guy like Ben Johnson coming in, who I'm sure he respects because of the success Ben Johnson has had. It's kind of like I always think back to when the Lakers had this talented team with Shaq in his prime, Kobe coming up, talented players, and they just couldn't get over the hump. And then they brought, or even the Bulls, and they brought Phil Jackson in, and suddenly they became a championship team. I don't think Phil Jackson is some NBA genius, and I don't think the triangle is worth all the credit it's given. But I think what Phil Jackson is great at, well, first of all, when Phil Jackson comes in and he's got all those rings, you're going to give him respect. But Phil Jackson knew how to get the best out of his players. That's what made Phil Jackson so good. It's like when a player, it's like Randy Moss. I remember when Randy Moss was on the Raiders and everybody thought it's over. He's done. His career is over. And then he went to the Patriots and had the best season of his life.
Yep.
Because the situation, the coaches.
That's exactly right. Yeah. Phil Jackson's best asset really was his best trait was managing egos, and
exactly
he did it. I mean, he's got to get credit.
I feel like Matt Eberflus, not his best trait. I don't even know what his best trait is, honestly. Convincing NFL teams to pay him millions of dollars is his best trait.
Well, yeah, there you go. He did something to get that job. All right. Let's not skip over this. We got some comments here. I don't know if you noticed that, but Jaden Daniels was taken as the QB1 in this draft in the beginning of the third round. So some people feel like it's a little early. Young Money just wants to make sure I know that the Dolphins are going to get spanked in that overseas game. I completely agree. What do you think about JD?
I mean, I think it's probably a little early. I know he wanted to stack with Terry, so it's fine. I mean, I don't think JD would have made it back to him. That's for sure. So. No.
And this is what's different from the underdog drafts is the stacking isn't quite as beneficial necessarily on a weekly basis, but also as far as value and reaching, it doesn't really matter too much, because you're not competing against a field in a tournament of thousands of people. You just need to win this league. And if he's the best quarterback, it doesn't matter what round you picked him. So, it's not something that should be held against you per se, I
don't want to go too, this isn't a best ball. I don't want to go too rookie heavy, but
love Harvey. Still on Harvey, that's for sure. Okay. Not a rookie. So Brian wants to know, what would you look to get in exchange for CMC in a keeper league, which is ironic, right? We were just talking about this.
Yeah. So, I mean, a keeper league is a little tough because, I mean, there's no guarantee that like CMC is going to be a keeper next year. If he has another injury plagued season, probably not going to be a keeper next year. But he's still he's still going as a second round pick in your fantasy draft, so he still has a ton of value. So it would, like we were talking about, it would come down to what my team needs. I assume if you're trying to trade CMC, you're not completely struggling at running back. So I'd probably be looking for a high end wide receiver. Now, you may not be able to get like a Drake London or an AJ Brown because I don't know, people may want to keep them. What about like a Terry McLaurin?
Yeah, and again, we have to point out he didn't say dynasty; he said keeper, which is different, right?
Right.
Look at draft picks long term. So yeah, as long as you get it, I mean, it should be at least a number one receiver. Okay. Let's see. I guess I need another running back.
Like in a keeper league, is somebody taking CMC for like Drake London? I don't know. Lad McConkey? I don't know. JSN, maybe if they're like really desperate at running back, but probably not. I mean, maybe you could get AJ Brown.
I think you could. Look, people want to believe CMC is still CMC. He's still one of the best fantasy running backs, and not just Clayton here, but I think a lot of times we'll see him as maybe a top 15 pick, maybe not first round all the time, but at the very least, he's not getting out of the second round. So I think you can say, other than those top maybe 5 elite receivers, the Jeffersons, Lambs, Chase, etc. Maybe not Neighbors or BTJ. Okay, maybe not Sun God. So 6. I think you could shoot for anything beyond that at receiver, and see what you get. And look, you know what? If I'm doing this and it's a keeper league, I'm probably going to try personally to get either a Garrett Wilson or Marvin Harrison, a guy who could be a superstar and a long-term keeper for a long, long, long time that isn't coming off a huge season. You know what I mean? That's my kind of target.
Yeah, those are some good ones because they're still young. They have potential. Like if Marvin Harrison goes out there this year and has like 1,400 yards and 8 to 10 touchdowns, you're going to be happy. You're going to really be happy with that deal. So that's a good one.
Yep. Okay, let's see. Justin has his question. It says the last time Steph stayed healthy for an entire season, his QB finished QB1. What was interesting wording?
Yeah, that's some interesting wording. I don't know if Diggs was the reason he finished QB1 that year. This is like I don't think Drake May is going to finish QB1, even if Steph stays healthy.
Yeah, I like Drake May, but I don't see him being QB1 status. And I actually mean like a starting quarterback in a 1 quarterback league this year. I don't think it's going to happen. All right. Let's see. Dan says he doesn't usually draft like this, but he likes it. Let's see. What's your team looking like? Dan, man. Oh, he went what? Tight end early, round 2, and QB early. Well, let's wait to judge. I mean, you definitely have some high-end talent at every position, but remember, 3 receivers and a flex, right, in full PPR.
Yeah.
So don't want to wait too long. I'm not sure if Cooper Kupp as your starting receiver 3 is what you want. I mean, it's not what I want.
No, I don't think I'll be drafting Cooper Kupp this year.
No. Okay, I will be drafting my guy. Need some youth to offset that Mixon pick.
Oh, I didn't even notice you took Mixon. All right.
Yeah, it was him or Connor. Like, which old man running back do I want? Both values.
The ADP is weird right here. Like a lot of quarterbacks and tight ends. Like the sleeper ADP, I mean.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I remember this time. You got to scroll down. There's some hidden picks.
Yeah. Ooh, snipe me on Ridley. Good pick. I'm getting way too rookie heavy here. Oh, is Judkins already gone? Did I miss it? Oh, I missed Judkins being gone.
Yeah,
All
actually,
right.
he went right before my pick.
I missed that. Oh man. Boy.
If you're too young, you should offset it with a veteran. Get like an Amari Cooper, you know.
Geez. I just don't like anybody here. All right, let's go. My boy Cam, I guess. Oh man. I don't like only having 4 wide receivers right now, but I also don't really like any of these wide receivers. Swift still on the board? Let's go Swift. Ugh. Ugh, that was gross.
Even at RB and wide receiver, and you, like me, we're both in the same situation. We have to make sure we don't forget to take a tight end at some point.
I don't care about tight end. Whatever.
Or I guess you don't have to. You could always just pick
I
one.
mean, I'll take a tight end, but it's like, is there really a difference between the tight ends that are on the board right now?
It's interesting. We have a lot of the big name tight ends that were at one point fantasy elite, right? The Kelsey, the Mark Andrews, Evan Ingram, but they're still there. But might as well wait. Oh, Clayton taking Pearsall. Okay, good. Yeah, Pearsall. Well, Pearsall over Ridley. I think that's pretty close. I like Pearsall a good amount this year. What do you think, Pearsall, Ridley? If they were both on the board at your pick, who would you have taken?
I probably would go Ridley. I'm actually last year I was like, no thanks to Ridley, but this year I'm actually kind of like Ridley with Cam Ward. I mean, Imanor, yeah, okay, he's whatever. Tyler Lockett, cooked. So I can see Ridley having a good season, but I like Pearsall too.
Yeah, I think they're pretty close. All right. Ready? Sorry, what's up, other John? Storming. Okay. Give him the auto warning. If he autos, not to blame. I know. Trust me, I get it. Although it has been better, you have to admit, this past few months at least. It's not like where it used to be, where if a straight cloud passes over the sun, then my internet goes out. It doesn't do that anymore.
Exactly. Well, didn't you upgrade?
I did. It was well worth it.
Yeah.
All right. Dan is really fighting the urge to take Cooper Kupp here. I can just tell.
Dan the man on.
Oh, come on, dude.
Oh,
there it is. Yes, I called it. You see what he did though? He didn't make the pick. He let it go like it was an auto pick. I timed out. I see. I don't think I don't know.
Oh boy.
Yeah, receiver is kind of thin already. All right, you ready for a hot take?
Yes.
I don't even know if this is a hot take. This is to take JC. Igbukah over basically every second round receiver.
Yeah, a lot of things are going to have to break right for Igbukah. Like Evans is going to have to get hurt. Chris Godwin is not going to have to be healthy. I mean, where does Igbukah fit in this year?
Not on my roster.
This feels a lot like JSN year one.
Yes.
Where it's just like, where does he fit in? Where does he fit into this offense in year one?
It's worse than that because he was fighting with, Metcalf and Lockett. Igbukah was fighting with Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, even McMillan wasn't a slouch last year. Yeah, no, sorry. Out. Derek.
I thought about Diggs.
You did. Wow.
Yeah, but I couldn't do it. I obviously couldn't do it because I didn't take him. But I thought about it.
Yeah, I can't. I'm definitely out on Diggs. I don't even know if I'm taking him in best ball. I'm like just because. I mean, I guess I will at some point. Maybe at some point I'll okay, I will have exactly one share of stuff on Diggs just because then I have one share of him just to say I didn't avoid him completely, but that's pretty much it. Hey, Derek, what's up, Derek? Glad you're here too. Subscribe, notifications. I mean, I know the notifications are kind of weird. Sometimes they come up, when they're supposed to, and sometimes they don't.
Yeah, I think the best thing to say is we do these mocks on Thursday around this time. So
yeah, and during the long summer off season, it's not quite as well at this early point in the summer. It's not as consistent. But once we get closer in minicamp in July and August, then it'll be pretty regular and consistent. We'll stick to more of a probably regular schedule. We also do the underdog drafts. Derek, you probably already know about it, but anybody else who doesn't know, do the underdog best ball mania drafts. So jump in those two. All right, Justin. Going from Stephon Diggs to Josh Palmer.
I love Justin's question. Lifelong Bills fan living out his dream.
Who's the lifelong Bills fan here? Who is it? I wonder.
I'm assuming Josh Palmer. Is Josh Palmer a lifelong Bills fan?
I did not know that.
What is Josh Palmer's ceiling? I don't know. Low end wide receiver 2.
Wow, that's pretty high.
Low end. I mean, we're talking about his ceiling. Because the thing, yeah. I talked about him on yesterday's video. I could see him scoring a lot of touchdowns. I don't see him catching a ton of passes and getting a ton of yards. So, kind of like Cortland Sutton-ish.
That's, man, yeah, I can't go there.
Ceiling. We're talking ceiling. We're talking best case scenario.
Yeah, I don't think that's it. His best case scenario. I mean, look, in that same offense, I think his best case scenario is like, what year was it? 2022 Gabe Davis.
Wait, are we talking about playoff Gabe Davis or regular season Gabe Davis?
Oh, regular season Gabe Davis. Oh,
So a few huge games and a bunch of zeros.
that's pretty much it.
Hey, if he had a season like Darnell Mooney, that'd be pretty good.
Yeah, that's solid. Look, I actually think Mooney's a decent value. I considered him this last pick. It was between Mooney and Hollywood. I like Mooney as again, more like a fourth, fifth receiver, but he can get in your lineup semi regularly. All right. How about McCarthy, top 10?
I definitely think he's way underdrafted. I don't know about top 10. But I mean, where did Sam Darnold finish last year?
Sam Darnold first half and Sam Darnold second half were very different. So
It was really like Sam Darnold. The last two games was terrible. The two most important games. Remember that Lions game for like the number 1 seed, and then the playoff game.
yeah, I guess second half maybe that's a little over exaggerated. It was really more just fantasy playoffs, like the end of the season. But still, I really do think there is something to the Vikings potentially passing less than they have, and McCarthy being a little bit more game manager-esque. I don't think they're going to let it fly quite as much. It's going to take time. He's going to have to learn how to play quarterback in the NFL because he hasn't done it at all. So I don't think we can assume he's just going to come in and be capable of putting up top 10 numbers. So I don't. To me, that's not the ceiling. If he manages to finish as a top 15 fantasy quarterback, I'd say that's actually a pretty good rookie season for him. Last year, Sam Darnold was the QB9 in fantasy points.
That's the thing. I mean, it's Kevin O'Connell, QB whisperer.
This is true.
I certainly like McCarthy. I certainly think he's undervalued. I don't think you have to draft McCarthy in your 1 QB leagues. He's probably going to be more like a guy that's picked up off of waivers at some point, kind of like Sam Darnold was last year, I guess. Yeah, he's also got Justin Jefferson, which helps. I don't know. I don't think the Vikings are going to run the ball more. I just think Kevin O'Connell is who he is. I mean, even with Nick Mullins, they threw the ball a ton.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, a lot of it's basically going to come down to how he performs those first couple of weeks. Is he going to be ready or not? If he's turning the ball over, then yeah, they're going to be throwing the ball less. But if not, and the defense starts out the way they started out last year, yeah, then you should feel pretty good. I do think I remember the Vikings having a semi-tough schedule early in oh yeah, actually they have a very tough. They're the team, I identify as far as possibly bad starts. They're the team, the Vikings, in week 4 and 5, they have the back-to-back overseas games. They play in like Dublin and in London or something. But here's the thing where it actually gets worse. So, it's like with the Jags, they play right overseas twice and then they come back and they have the bye. The next 4 games after that, they play is like the Ravens, the Eagles, the Lions. It's like the worst schedule possible. So it got me a little worried. Like, it's not like I'm like, hey, I'm avoiding Justin Jefferson now, but still got me a little concerned about the state of the Vikings offense early in the season, because I think it might be a rough a rough go in the first half. Bill is happy with Kelsey in the 9th round. I feel like that's pretty fair.
I don't think there's any round I can draft Kelsey, honestly.
Really? Like out? Like you're totally out?
Yeah. He looked old. He looked slow. He looked out of shape. I don't think Travis Kelsey is spending his off seasons getting ready for football anymore.
That seems pretty accurate. I'm sure he's doing some sort of reality show or something. Yeah, I mean,
I'm
there's
honestly
definitely been
shocked.
a what?
I'm honestly shocked he didn't retire.
Yeah.
I mean, I wonder if Taylor Swift said, if you retire, I'm breaking up with you.
Well, Keith agrees. Yeah, that'd be a great let me see your squad. You said y'all a lot of rookies. Oh, you just took Burden. Very nice.
I know. I'm probably too rookie heavy in this draft.
Well, this is perfect. Not that it's a mock, so you're not going to name your team, but if you do name your team, No Country for Old Men.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that's a good name. I've been reading Cormac McCarthy lately, so I had it on the brain.
I mean, I'll admit I'm nervous for Jonnu. I do worry that Jonnu is maybe being overdrafted.
Well, I agree. We don't want to draft name value. We don't want to draft past production. We want to draft future production. So I like Njoku where he's being taken. I think it's still fair. Jonnu, I know you're betting that he's still a top 5 tight end, but when you look at the tight end landscape, why can't he be a top 5 tight end again?
I mean, yeah, sure. Why can't he? Or the flip side is like, did we just see a weird situation down the stretch last year? We'll see.
If it was a couple of games like the George Pickens from a couple of years ago, where it was like just week 15 through 17, but this was like the entire second half of the season.
Yeah, and I will say I've always thought Jonnu Smith was a good athletic pass catching tight end. So maybe, and we have seen late breakout tight ends before. That being said, he could also just completely bust. Panic pick a wide receiver with no team.
Yeah, that can you tell that was a panic pick? Someone's got to sign him at some point, right?
I don't know. Maybe he doesn't want to play.
He's just waiting. He's like one of those guys who's just like a vulture, just hovering, waiting around training camp, waiting for someone to tear their Achilles, and then he swoops in.
Assuming he doesn't tear his Achilles first, of course.
Yeah.
All right. Another spot with nobody I like.
Yeah.
How many rounds we got?
Great points. It's the offense more so with the Dolphins. Like, are they going to actually throw it down the field like they did 2 years ago? Or are they going to play it safe and just try to make sure Tua doesn't get killed in the pocket all season long?
Well, here's my thing with that. I don't think that was Tua being scared to throw it down the field. I mean, maybe, but I don't think so. I think that was Tyreek Hill just not having that extra gear anymore. Tyreek Hill is no longer just faster than everybody. It's like, oh, we're just as fast as you now. And so those plays where you can basically give him a running head start and somehow it's not illegal don't work anymore. And now you can't throw it down. Who are you throwing it down the field to? Nobody. Malik Washington? Nah. So I think that was the issue. So I guess that should make me feel good about Jonnu because I don't think prime Tyreek Hill is walking through that door anymore. I think Tyreek is I'm not gonna say he's complete dust, but I think that like I said, the extra gear that he had that he could just blow by defenders isn't there anymore, and now he can't just run past everybody for huge touchdowns.
Yeah, and then there's just having another wrist surgery and the every other week saying I'm out, I don't want to be here anymore, and then just kidding, I'm still here, and who knows that. But here, my question then is, what about Jalen Waddle, who I took in this draft because I feel like it was late enough to take a chance on here. He didn't have the numbers either. It's like they weren't throwing it to him. I feel like it was more like a concerted effort to not be too aggressive offensively and like let's keep things closer to the line of scrimmage, and dump it off more and throw it intermediate passes more. And I think part of it was the offensive line sucked, right? They didn't want to sit him in the pocket too long. And also it's like, we don't want him to take a sack and end his career. A combination of things. And Tua did, when he's on, he's on. He can throw the deep ball as good as anybody, but he will also take chances and he will also, make every game, there's probably about one or two really bad turnover worthy plays that usually turns into an interception. So like a combination of things, you know what I mean? I feel like it was more the philosophy, like it's Mike McDaniel, not Tua.
No, but I have a hard time. I mean, maybe. I mean, I'm not in there going game planning all week with the Dolphins. So I don't know what they're thinking, but man, I feel like McDaniel is too smart of an offensive coach to just be like, we'll just dink and dunk our way down the field. As far as Waddle goes, I mean, I was on Waddle last year. That didn't work. I'm starting to wonder if Waddle is just one of those guys that was like, he's being propped up by one really good season, and maybe he's just not as good as we think.
It's very possible. Very possible. I mean, look, I don't think talent is a question for Waddle, but consistency is definitely a question. That's for sure.
And health. He's always banged up. Even when he's on the field, it feels like every Sunday there's some tweet that comes out like Jalen Waddle limping to the sideline. Ooh, Jalen Waddle got up awkwardly after that one. Like, it's like, is this guy ever 100%?
That too. That was definitely part of it. Well, I really do feel I almost can say I know because I've heard it. They keep saying it. This is a make or break season for McDaniel at head coach. I mean, if he doesn't at least make the playoffs, and I would say even if they get off to a really bad start first several weeks, I mean, he's going to be on the hot seat. So I think he's going to have to be more aggressive.
I mean, that's the thing though. You can only be aggressive. You can't just be like, all right, we're going to run these deep routes but nobody's open.
Well,
I mean, what was between,
even if he's not prime cheetah, like the fastest man on the planet anymore, he should still be faster than pretty much all the DBs he's facing. And Jalen Waddle definitely has the speed to get open. And now there's Nick Westbrook-Akine. So, I mean, there's no excuse.
I mean, maybe when guys lose a step, I mean, it doesn't take much in the NFL. Like the difference between being the fastest man and just really fast is not that much.
Curious to see if they use a guy we thought would help and fit the offense perfectly and barely even stepped on the field last year was Malik Washington. I wonder if they try to use him a little bit more.
I mean, maybe. And I talked about this also in a recent video with Tyreek Hill. According to Player Profiler, last year he had a 50.4% route win rate. The year before that, He was at 65.9. That's a 15% drop. I mean, he just was not, Tyreek Hill just was not getting open last year. It doesn't, like, sure, you can chuck it to him, but also Tyreek Hill is not the type, like, Tyreek Hill isn't like, George Pickens or like DK Metcalf, where you're like, he's not open, but I don't care. I'm just going to chuck it and he'll let him go make a play. Now, Tyreek Hill's like 5'10. You know what I mean? Like, if he's not open, you can't really throw him the ball. So we'll see. We'll see what happens this year.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting, not necessarily in a good way, as a Dolphin fan, to see exactly how things shake out. Because last year just was all year just felt weird, right? It's like this. What is this team? This is not the same offense at all. They just completely changed the way they played throughout the end of the season. And actually, part of what they did, if you remember from 2 years ago, of course, we all will forever remember the Raheem Mostert epic season where he scored 2 touchdowns every single game, but they ran the ball quite a bit. And last year they couldn't use Mostert, right? Because he officially turned to dust. And who is it? Jeff Wilson. Yeah, I think his time is up. And so it's like they need somebody to complement Achane. Achane can't be your only running back out there every single play, running and catching the ball. So they kind of need that thunder to complement him too, and they can use the running game to open up the passing game. So we'll see if they get back to that. But right now, let's see if we can get to rating these teams.
Let's do it.
Team 1, Jay Problem took Barkley. Took McLaurin and Daniels. Ready to discuss that. Got Worthy in round 4. Kenneth Walker, Judy Ayuk. I believe I see that is Javonte Williams, correct? All right.
That is Javonte Williams.
Javonte Williams. And Andrews, Egbuka, Eckler, Caleb Williams, and Colston Loveland. Thoughts?
I mean, I love the running backs. I think, okay, I don't love Javonte, but I love the other running backs. I think Kenneth Walker is a great pick. I think he's going to smash this year. I know we talked about JD being early, but whatever. But like JD's going to be great. It's not like JD's going to be terrible. He's going to be great. Wide receivers, for a 3 wide receiver, 1 flex, I'd like a little bit more. But look, if IU can get healthy, I think you're okay there. Tight ends are fine. I'm personally, I like that you took both of last year's rookie quarterbacks, but I'm personally not taking a second QB if I got Daniels, but that's nitpicking. So overall, solid.
Yeah, even if I'm not doing it necessarily, I'm okay with a JD pick there because it made sense. And if you're not convinced that Harrison is worth being your wide receiver too, okay, that's fine. I agree. I like the Walker pick. The very end, the depth is a little questionable, but again, not going to make or break your draft. Tony at the number 2 got Bijan. Went Garrett Wilson, Marvin Harrison, Zay Flowers, Laporta, Aaron Jones, B-Rob, Kirk, Besh, Algier, Mason Corum, Fields.
Bijan, like you get the 2B Robinson, so that's always fun. Jones, Algier. You got the Vikings backfield, so you're locked in there. I was a little upset you took Besh that early. I thought I could get Besh this draft, but I didn't. Wide receivers are kind of risk reward here, right? Wilson, Harrison, Flowers, Kirk, Besh, Laporta, Fields. The last pick's fine. Yeah, it's good.
Well, I mean, Christian Kirk aside, having missed most of the season, but if your receivers perform exactly like they did last year, you're probably not going to be a contender. But obviously, you're betting on Wilson and Harrison both to take a step forward, which they should. And you're obviously betting heavily on the Jets with Fields as your quarterback. And I think that's a smart gamble. So, yeah, you got upside here. Taz at the 3 got Jamar Chase at the 1-3. That's always a nice surprise. JSN, Jacobs, Burrow to go with Chase, Addison, Pollard, subject of a recent video, Hawkinson, Mooney, Etienne. I do think that was an auto pick, if I'm correct. And then Goff, not necessary. Samson, how do we say it? Monangai?
That's how I say it. It's probably some weird pronunciation. Someone will correct us. I absolutely love this team up to Etienne, which I think Etienne and Goff might have been auto picks, but
Yeah.
I mean, Chase, JSN, Addison is a perfect wide receiver 3, that kind of like boom bust upside guy. Mooney as your flex is fine. I like Jacobs and Pollard. Hawkinson, you got Burrow. I do like Sampson, but I don't know. Etienne and Goff, I think, might have been autos, but I think the start of the draft was great.
Agree. No real issues. RB depth, if Pollard or Jacobs goes down, you might be scrambling, but other than that, you got a solid base. And then none other than Dirty Dollar Bill at the 4. Gibbs at the 4. All right. What do you think about that?
I mean, I've talked about it. I'm a little nervous about Gibbs top 5 with Monty there, but it's not like he's going to be a bust. I'm not calling Gibbs a bust. But I think if you look at it last year, he averaged like 18 points per game with Monty on the field, which is still very good. But he averaged like 30 points per game without Monty. So I prefer Gibbs more like to the middle of the first round. But again, you're still going to be fine with Gibbs. You're going to be fine with Gibbs.
All right, pick you may not like as much, and I don't think I do either. Tyreek Hill at the 2. I think we spent probably way too much talking about him, but there he is.
I talked about him already.
Well, I think it's interesting taking Gibbs right aggressively at the 4, but then not going hero RB, then going Bucky in the 3rd round. Okay, you got DK, Godwin, Pacheco, Baker, Diggs, Kelsey, White, Warren, McMillan, and Herbert. Got a lot of bucks here on this team. Actually, we have a lot. We have 1, 2, 3. You have the entire Tampa Bay offense, basically.
A lot of it. Yeah, I think this is probably where Bucky goes. I mean, I would personally take JT over him and probably Chase Brown over him, but I think it's fine here. Yeah, we talked about Hill a bunch. Pacheco, very boom bust. I mean, Baker's great. Diggs, I think Diggs is fine there. We talked about Kelsey already. So, yeah, this feels like a very boom bust team here, right? This could go either way. This team could go either direction. It could be really good or it could be a disaster.
Yep. I guess it depends who Tampa's playing each week. All right. Not the 5. Other John, Wynn, Jefferson Higgins, JT, Hurts, Pickens, Connor, Jacoby Myers, Jaden Reed, Najee, Ferg, Tank, Keon Coleman, and Marshawn Lloyd. I love the vote of confidence there.
Keep getting that Marshawn Lloyd pick. Love JT at the 3-5. Like, come on, that's great. Hurts, Pickens is your wide receiver 3, Myers, Reed as your flex, Connor is your RB2. I mean, that's a very good starting lineup. I don't like Ferguson quite as much with Pickens there, but it's whatever. It's late round tight end. It's fine. So, yeah, I think this is a very, that starting lineup is really good. I mean, Jefferson, Higgins, Pickens with Myers, Reed at the flex, and Connor, JT at running back. Really good. Really good.
Yeah, I agree. JT at the 3-5 feels like really strong value there. So very nice core. NMB at the 6 got Sun God and Ladd, Chase Brown, Lamar, Kittle, Shakir, Judkins, Ramondre, Downs, Blue, who I know Jay said he wanted, but got Javonte instead. And then Spears, Coker, and Dante Thornton.
Interesting. Yeah, it's probably the first time we've seen him drafted.
Yes, it is.
Sun God, not my pick there, but I mean, Sun God's fine. Sun God, Ladd's a good start. Chase Brown, again, I think great value. I mean, he's locked in as a starter there. Lamar, fine. Kittle, great at tight end. I think you started to lose me here in the middle a little bit. Shakir, I feel like this might be a little early for Shakir. Judkins is okay. Ramondre, I'm very nervous about. Down Blue. I do like that Blue pick. Spears. Just lost me a little bit there in the middle. But other than that, a lot of good picks here.
Yeah, I think I can deal with a Shakir pick there because it's like the debate we had earlier. Would you want a guy with Josh Allen as quarterback, or do you want the guy like Judy who is throwing to him in Cleveland? Anyways,
who knows?
So okay, I'm fine with that. Yeah, I think this is actually pretty good. You took some shots late. Hey, if one of them pays off, then you'll be thrilled. All right, now my team, I was in the middle here at 7. I feel like I maybe was a little safe early, but I went CeeDee Lamb, AJB, Kyron Williams, DJ Moore, Waddle, Mixon, Caleb Johnson, Hollywood, Tootin, Ingram, And then the Allen Knott brothers, Keenan and Braylon, and Bo Nix is my quarterback.
Yeah, I don't feel like I feel like you got some good values here. You took the values where they were, but I do feel like this team feels a little flourish, which isn't a bad thing.
It's not a great thing. Yeah.
CeeDee Lamb obviously has the ceiling, and so does AJ Brown. But I feel like Kyron Williams floor, DJ Moore floor, Waddle, who knows, like Mixon floor, Caleb floor.
Yeah, exactly. It's
solid.
Solid. Look, if Caleb Johnson or Blashall Tootin maybe break out, then I guess that gives me a little of ceiling. Maybe Waddle comes back to what he was a couple of years ago. But yeah, agree. It's fine for me, but it's not like super exciting. Dan, the man, liked his team. Went with Puka, Bowers, and Josh Allen. Then went up with Cook, Olave, Henderson, Golden, Cup, Tracy, Trey Harris, Jaden Higgins, Roman Wilson. Don't know we see drafted often, and Jerome Ford. A lot of youth at receiver. Thoughts?
I guess Roman Wilson getting that Pickens trade bump. I mean, Puka, Bowers, Josh Allen, James Cook. You should be feeling good there. It means Olave's your wide receiver 2. Golden or Cup, your wide receiver 3 flex. Trey Harris, Tracy, Cook, and Henderson. I feel like this is another like risk reward team. Like there's certainly guys with a lot of potential upside here, but like also guys with a lot of risk, like Olave, like Henderson, like Golden, like Harris, Higgins. So, but that's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing necessarily to have a team like that.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I was thinking. I feel like this is a better in best ball type of team because you can take the few big games Olave will give you, and Golden, he's going to be up and down, and Tracy even, who knows, Trey Harris, these rookie receivers who aren't necessarily the number 1 or 2 option in their offense. So it will be volatile for sure. Olave, yeah, I feel like we could have a whole thing on him. We'll probably need a whole video to discuss what to do with him with that situation. But let's get to MC Fizbiz at the 9. Malik Neighbors, gotta like that. Derrick Henry, gotta like that too. Mike Evans, Cortland Sutton, Chuba, Kamara, Jennings, Debo, Pat Mahomes, Charbonnet, Kincaid, Ray Davis, and QJ. And he did, I think this is Matt. He said, let me bring it up. Should have passed on Mahomes and feels like he should have waited at quarterback, which I feel like we almost always say if we don't get one of those top quarterbacks. But what do you think overall of this team?
Yeah, I like this team. Like I like the first few picks there. Chuba's okay. I'm a little nervous about a committee there, but I like the Kamara pick. You get the former 49ers teammates. I agree about Mahomes. Like at that point, just keep punting. Just keep punting QB. But I really like the Kincaid pick. Like honestly, I probably should have just punted tight end longer. I think Kincaid can be just as good as Jonnu. We'll see. So QJ, it's fine. That's what waiver wire's for.
Yeah, we discussed Kelsey and, just not being an elite fantasy option anymore. Mahomes is a little different, right? It's a little different conversation here. It's interesting. I mean, he's definitely still draft worthy as your starting quarterback, but at what point, and then when is it actually worth drafting him as opposed to just waiting? So that's a question we'll have all offseason. But let's get to Clayton. In a shocking turn of events, takes a 49er first, the CMC. Drake London, got McBride. Definitely not shocking there. McMillan in round 4. Think about Tet going there before guys like Sutton, Metcalf, DJ Moore, etc.
Yeah, it's fine. The path is there for Tet for sure. The path is there. So, I don't love Sutton. I don't love DJ Moore. I can't love Metcalf till I know who's throwing him the football. So I'm okay with it.
All right. Omari and Hampton, Odunze, Pearsall, Benson, Pittman, Kyle Williams, Dowdle, Neal, and Dak last, which, not a stack, but not like you have to stack. So overall, kind of anchor RB.
Yeah, pretty hero RB here. I like the RBs. I like the late round running backs. I think you got enough potential upside at wide receiver. Obviously, McBride is great, and Dak. I mean, we saw like Dak just 2 years ago had a monster year, so maybe have him pick until get him back to that.
Yeah, my only issue here is okay, Hampton could be the guy, but it's not going to be week 1 or week 2. And even if CMC doesn't get injured the entire season, you might be hurting at RB2 for a while until Hampton comes on, or if Hampton comes on and is an every week starter, because Benson, Dowdle, and Neal, those guys are absolutely not startable early in the season. So we'll see. Aiden Lee at number 11, Nico in the first round, and Achane, Brees, Rice, Monty, JMO, Ridley, Warren, Kyler, and Njoku, Mims, Shaheed, and Chubb.
Gotta pick Chubb. I really like this team, honestly. Not a fan of the Warren pick. I just feel like Warren, like, I mean, how long are you gonna keep doing this thing with Warren? Like, when's Warren ever been a thing? Why is he gonna be a thing with Caleb there? But I mean, other than that, and the Chubb pick, I really like this draft a lot. Might be one of my favorite drafts.
Yeah. I think it's solid because even though you need 3 receivers and then a flex, which doesn't have to, but can be a receiver most often, it really is a wide receiver 4. Feels really nice.
Right.
My only nitpick would be I'm personally going James Cook over Breece Hall at this point, but other than that, great draft. Let's see if you topped it. At the turn, you got BTJ and Giante. Nice. Devontae and Devontae. RJ Harvey, Travis Hunter, Skatibu, DeAndre Swift, Jonnu Smith, Luther Burden, Bateman, Garendo, and Purdy with your last pick. Well, there's absolutely nothing to hate about those receivers. Obviously, although it just occurred to me because you went rookie, but you got BTJ and Travis Hunter. I guess you're bullish on the Jags.
Yeah. I don't know how I feel about this team, to be honest. I like the BTJ Genty start. I'm fine with Adams, Devonta Smith there. I like Harvey, but I feel like after that Harvey pick, I don't know how I feel about the rest of the team here. I think I'm probably okay at running back with Skatibu Swift if like Harvey isn't the guy or if he struggles or something. But yeah, I think I just feel like this team just feels okay to me. Doesn't feel like my best, honestly.
Well, I mean, the good thing with having these rookies is you're building in the potential for upside, right? Like the breakout potential of a guy like Harvey. The only thing I would say is that the Hunter, since you already had BTJ, I might have gone a different receiver, but where you took him was totally solid. Yeah, I like it overall.
Yeah, I would have liked this team a lot more if Aiden Lee didn't snipe me on Ridley.
Well, there you go. It's always going to happen, and it'll happen again next week because we're going to do this again. I know Daniel's saying you missed this one. We appreciate you being on here. Hey, turn on notifications and always check in. Thursdays, we're going to try to do these mocks. We also will be doing Underdog Best Ball Mania, and you don't have to wait. Of course, try to jump in with us and draft with us, and you can still get in the action. You can do slow drafts. You can do fast drafts. So if you haven't tried Underdog yet, you know what to do. Just look down there below, look in the comments, and it'll give you the information you need, which is if you sign up for the first time in Underdog, you use code ENDGAME, gets you all the bonus cash for your first deposit, plus some free picks that you can make right away. And I know the NFL season is a long way off, but you don't have to wait. NBA playoffs, MLB, regular season, which lasts forever in a day. Anything you want, esports, whatever, you name it, you got it. So check out Underdog if you haven't already. Check us out for our next Underdog draft, which is going to be in a couple of days, most likely. And check us out next week when we do this again with you. And if you didn't get enough and you happen to be a baseball fan, switch over to the Fantasy Endgame Baseball channel in about 5 minutes because we're going to do a live Q&A session right there. So join us and say hello, and we will see you very soon.